Prophetically speaking, we've entered the final countdown. And here to talk about the final countdown is author, pastor Billy Crone. Hi, Billy.
Hey, Gary. How you doing? Good to be on.
I'm going to hold up your book. That's the title, The Final Countdown.
Yep.
And we're going to spend some time talking about this book today. I think you've really outdone yourself. Information-wise, this thing is packed. I've had a chance to look through it.
Yeah.
And this is only volume 1 of a 2-volume work.
Right.
You are led, I think, in the direction of just laying it all out.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. It was the whole enchilada, if you will, so to speak, which you get on the videos. There's just too much for one book, so we had to split it up. And this is the first part. And plus, in the book, you get some bonus material because I couldn't contain, for the sake of time, I had to chop some stuff from the videos, but it's in the book. So the book truly is a bonus package. You put the two together, you get the whole effect.
And the other half is the Final Countdown video version, and there are 27 DVDs in this package. We'll talk more about those later on. First of all, let's just start at the beginning, the Final Countdown. What are you doing in this book? What do you want people to know?
Well, the one thing that you can't do when it comes to prophecy is you can't set a date.
Right.
That's about as basic as you can get in the scripture. And I say it all the time, I don't care how nifty, with all due respect, I don't care how nifty you are with the calculator or what latest theory or whatever, nobody knows the day nor the hour. Right? It's a cardinal rule. It's like you don't mess with the virgin birth, you don't mess with the resurrection, you don't set a date. Okay, so this is not date-setting stuff, of course not. It's called the Final Countdown because the Bible, although it doesn't give us the date of the rapture, it does give us indicators when it's getting close, okay, the season. And so this is evidence shown that we're headed towards that final countdown leading up to the unknown date, the rapture, and then, of course, right after that, you have the beginning of the 7-year tribulation.
Now, I'm going to take my Bible and read a verse that we've all read for years and years and years. It's Daniel 12, verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book. That would be the book of Daniel. Seal the book even to the time of the end, meaning that it's going to be possible to determine the time of the end, and we believe we're there.
Yeah.
And it says, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. We used to think we knew what that meant.
Yeah.
Like 20, 30 years ago, knowledge shall be increased. What did that mean? Well, it meant computers, and it meant mass printing of books and newspapers worldwide. And then something called the internet popped up, and we all said, oh, that's what Daniel was talking about.
Yeah.
No. We've gone way beyond that, right?
Oh, yeah. Exponentially so. Knowledge is not just increasing, it's increasing out of control. Exactly what Daniel was talking about there. And in this study, The Final Countdown, we have a whole section just dealing with that issue, Gary, on modern technology. And this volume 1, of course, we deal with the Jewish people. We also deal with worldwide upheaval with the wars and famines and pestilence, earthquakes, those kind of signs and indicators. Yeah. We also deal with the rise of falsehood and the rise of wickedness. But we have a whole section just on modern technology. And what does the Bible have to say about that? And Daniel, of course, is that classic passage. In the last days, how do you know you're getting close? You don't know the day nor the hour, but how do you know you're getting close to that time of the end, as he talks about? Mm-hmm. Well, you're going to see an explosion of knowledge like ever before. We got so much knowledge, Gary, as we all know. It's like we don't even realize it. We walk in it, we eat in it, we sleep in it, we become dependent upon it. We have so much information we don't even know what to do with. We have verbiage like information overload. And people don't realize this is a sign you're living in the last days. It's a massive explosion of knowledge. And it's not just growing, it's not just dispersing, it's not just global, it's going out of control. It's heading towards what seculars call an eclipse point that they have coined called singularity, which is the single moment where technology finally gets to the point where it can now start to improve on itself, and then that version of that self and whatever, and you basically begin to supersede even human intelligence, okay? And then at that point, the human race, they say, secularists, you're in jeopardy.
And you know, a man is said by Daniel to stand up in the end times in Daniel chapter 11, And he's the king who does according to his own will. He exalts himself. He magnifies himself above every god. And he speaks marvelous things against the God of gods. Do you think he's using super technology of some sort?
Well, I think so too, because you look at also in the Bible when it talks about the Antichrist, the false prophet, it clearly says that they do these things with lying, false signs and wonders. So there's
Wonders.
chicanery going on,
Yeah.
right? You know, it appears to be supernatural, but is it really supernatural?
Uh-huh.
Most people don't realize that of what's really going on behind the scenes with the plethora of technology that could actually be used to give the appearance that they had supernatural, i.e. godlike powers. No, it's not. It's how far technology is advanced. One of the things that we bring up there is even on the issue of the HARP technology that most people are totally clueless of. And this is that ray of antenna. There's in Alaska that they have, but there's dotted all over the world. It's not just in Alaska. But they beam this technology up into the ionosphere. And what that thing can do is not only be used to control people's emotions, and this is secular knowledge. This isn't like, oh, that's a weird, wacky conspiracy theory. No, this is demonstrated. You could use it to modify weather. You could use it to steer hurricanes. You could use it to create earthquakes. And you could use it as a weapon. In fact, one of the weapons they're saying potentially that the HARP technology can do is you could beam it up into the atmosphere, it could ride the ionosphere and get supercharged. Now, when you discharge that bolt, it says it's like 30 to 40 lightning bolts happening simultaneously, like a Mount St. Helens volcano going off, instantly vaporizing anything. Now, I'm not going to say, thus saith the Lord, but you fast forward to the chicanery, the false lying signs and wonders of the false prophet. And what's it say there? In the text, it says, and he called what? Fire to come down from heaven. Well, surely we must listen to this guy because he's got supernatural power. Not necessarily so. If you're aware of modern technology, this guy behind the scenes, he could have a mic. Okay, Bob, push the button. Boom! And it looks like a giant lightning bolt. Fire came down from the sky. That could be all duplicated today.
Super technology
With
in
super
the
technology.
hands of an evil man.
Exactly. And that's the tip of the iceberg. Go into the issue with the other issue going on there with the mark of the beast and all that stuff, with the modern technology.
Yeah.
He's created a system where we have a global economy with a technology that can tap into that, a matrix. I call it the matrix that we call the internet, that we're learning to what? We do our banking online. We do our buying and selling online. You look at many department stores, they're going out of business. They can't compete because who wants to go to the store anymore? I'll just shop online. I'll even order groceries online. Everything's being done into this cloud matrix. Now listen, what if one guy controlled that whole electronic matrix with modern technology, which is being built around us? What's he got? You can only send a firebolt down from the sky. You could literally say, you know what, if you don't do what I say, okay, with this technology that I'm going to combine with something in your right hand and forehead, I'm going to shut you out of the system with modern technology.
And you know, the New Testament, the book of Revelation, talks about the image of the beast.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well,
Could it be a high-tech device of some sort that makes his image public all over the world?
well, first of all, for the first time in human history, we have that capability. A lot of people, naysayers would say, oh, you Christians have been saying we're in the final countdown. We don't know the day nor the hour, but you keep saying we're getting close, nothing ever changes. Well, what's different is, again, just on this one aspect out of 5 that we deal with in this first volume of the book, is modern technology has changed all that, okay? And with modern technology, we have for the first time with global satellite technology that can broadcast simultaneously anywhere on the planet somebody's image. Not only that, the image broadcast capability is now to where they're doing 3D broadcasts. So it literally becomes their literal image. Not just broadcasting something globally, but we can broadcast a 3D image. There's also Japanese developers, and we include this, Japanese developers are working on, and already are working on, what are called touchable holograms, to where you could actually get a physical sensation by interacting with a 3D hologram. And so I'm not going to say, thus saith the Lord, but imagine the Antichrist says, you got to worship this image. Well, he can only be in one place at one time. He's not God. How's he going to do it? Well, you broadcast, if you will, a 3D image everywhere, every device all over. It's a 3D hologram, but it's touchable. You have to interact with it. And so who knows, not going to say, thus saith the Lord. What if he, in the 3D hologram, he says, like in the old days, you had to kiss the ring or whatever. And then you had to have a, and well, all that's physically, electronically, with modern technology possible. So even that's come to life. The 2 witnesses. People say, oh, you've been saying Christians forever. Like, no. things in our lifetime change. The two witnesses, Revelation 11, modern technology. Never before in the history of mankind has that passage been able to be fulfilled, because it says right there that they're killed in Jerusalem, right? The Antichrist is allowed to overcome them. They're killed there, and it says the whole world what? Gazes upon their bodies for 3.5 days. Now, that was written 2,000 years ago, roughly, and with John, and it's like, well, how's the whole world going to watch people's dead bodies for 3.5 days? Modern technology. We do that with sporting events and whatever, some special announcement, we broadcast it. That's only happened in our lifetime.
And you can actually visualize this because we watch the news all the time, all those news networks, and there's a reporter out there, and I can just see that reporter with the image of those two dead bodies behind him saying, so-and-so reporting from Jerusalem, where two men are lying in the street here, and this is good news. We've finally gotten rid of these pesky characters.
Yeah. Well, again, and Gary, all of that, we don't even have to even imagine. That's our reality now. Now, here's the point.
Yeah.
That's an event that takes place during the 7-year tribulation. So if we see the technology already here to pull off these events during that time frame in the 7-year tribulation, and the rapture happens before the 7-year tribulation, we don't know the day nor the hour, but guess what? We're headed for the final countdown. It's got to be close based on modern technology. Also, you mentioned about the reporter there. There. It also says a second thing in that text. It says not only people are going to be watching it, and we could see that with modern technology today, easy. It says there, they actually get excited over the death of these two guys, righteous preachers, which tells you the state of mankind. Ooh, so wicked. They're righteous guys, but they get excited and they send each other's gifts. They're so excited. It's like a global party.
You know, I can see that happening because I'm seeing it on television right now. I'm seeing people getting excited in the news networks about the wrong things.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't have to extend that much farther to get to what the Bible is talking
about. Exactly.
Yeah.
But then if you look at that, it says, well, they send each other gifts. Well, the time frame is compressed.
Yeah.
It's 3.5 days. They look at for 3.5 days. They're throwing a party and they're sending each other gifts. Well, wait a second. So how's that going to happen? Back in the day when this is written, you can't send stuff but all over the world, let alone you're going to make it in 3.5 days. Well, what are we living in today? Thanks to modern technology, modern travel technology, which Daniel also mentions, we could with the push of a finger, we could say, okay, I want to send you this, and it'll be there the next day. It'll be there within an hour. You look at anywhere on the planet, we can make anything, send any gift instantly around the world. And then you say, well, some people might not have a TV and they can't watch this, even with the global broadcast. Look at what's even more recently. What's everybody got now? You got a cell phone, you got tablets. So your television viewing global capabilities has gone even more mobile so that nobody has to miss this broadcast
and you've
of
got
the two witnesses.
You've got something that really scares me, and that's that little electronic character that you put on the kitchen cabinet and you talk to it as you're passing by.
Yeah.
There's one called Alexa and one called Google Play, and there are probably going to be 2 or 3 more, but essentially that thing is there to help you.
Yeah.
When you ask questions, when you want information, even when you want to call somebody, you say, so-and-so, call my friend, so-and-so, and it'll happen.
Yeah.
And that sounds so wonderful.
Yeah.
But there's a little dark side, right?
Well, I would say that you're going right back to, again, the danger of all this knowledge increasing that Daniel said would happen in the last days. And it's leading back to that singularity moment. You're talking about artificial intelligence. And I think, and we deal with that extensively here, and I don't think people realize just how dangerous that is and just how far it's become, right? Amazon, of course, has got that Echo device, the Alexa. Google's got their version of it. IBM also has another version called Watson. All these people right now, these giant corporations, are advancing artificial intelligence. And it's not just coming, it's already here. IBM has already named theirs, and it's called Watson. In fact, I believe it was back in 2011. This is how far advanced they are. In 2011, IBM used their artificial intelligence that they coined Watson, and they teamed it up against the 2 historical best human champions of Jeopardy. And Watson beat their pants off, right? And that was back in, I think, in 2011. So how far has it advanced? In fact, if people are watching, Gary, notice the commercials on TV. What are they doing? IBM is promoting Watson to take care of your taxes, to make sure, because it's super intelligent. It'll find every little thing that you can get to get the maximum amount of return back on your taxes and all kind of other things that Watson's here to help you. Watson will do this for you. Now, what's concerning about IBM, Google's doing it too, others are doing it too, They're all competing for this artificial intelligence. IBM is also the exact same company that's pushing another technology called the RFID chip, the radio frequency identification chip, that their stated plans is they want to chip everything on the planet, not just products, but people as well, in this giant global supply chain and interlink it, right? And then at the same time, IBM is already putting out commercials. You can check this out online, and we shared the video clips, and of this guy. He's going into the store, and he's putting this stuff in his long overcoat and what have you, and then this guard's watching him like you thinking he's shoplifting. And then at the very end, he walks through these registers, and you can see his body being scanned, and then you're still kind of thinking he ripped something off. But then at the very end, here comes the guard, and he says, "Excuse me, sir," and you think, oh, he's going to arrest him. He says, "You forgot your receipt." And then it's an IBM commercial, and they say, "Checkout lines, who needs them? This is the future." Well, the same company that is wanting to put a chip on every product wants them in every person to control the financial transactions. Now, here's where I'm going with this. Wait a second. And you're also the same company right now that is building Watson, this super duper artificial intelligence, way smarter than humans. Why? Well, to me, think about it from the Antichrist perspective. How in the world is one guy going to take all this technology that ties all the financial transactions around the world, the buying and selling, the products, individual, how's he going to do that? Well, we have the technology in place already. But wait a second, how's he going to control that? Humans can't control that. That's so complex. But if you built artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence, maybe a Watson, can control that and have that ability for the Antichrist with modern technology to push a button and control it all.
Let me interrupt just for a second to say that in the DVD set, Billy has included actual quotes, like if somebody said something of great importance, that video quote will be right here on the DVD, so you can actually see what an individual said about what's being developed. It'll give you kind of a up close and personal look at what's actually being done today, which is startling when you stop and think about it.
Well, it is, and frankly, it was a lot more work, Gary, but I think it's more effective because we only have skeptics in the world. We got skeptics in the church. You know, unfortunately, the trend in the church, they don't want to touch Bible prophecy with a 10-foot pole. And so even for the Christian, oh, come on, you guys are a conspiracy. No, this is no conspiracy theory. Here's the actual news clip. This isn't just an article quoting the UN. Here's the actual UN announcement on video. Oh, he didn't really say that, President so-and-so or leader so-and-so around. Yes, he is. Here's the actual video clip coming out of his mouth, him saying that. So that's what you get the power of the videos with that. The book contains all those transcribed, and the book contains bonus material. You put the two together, you get, if you will, the whole enchilada.
Now, before we leave this topic, let's talk about artificial intelligence from another perspective. How do you develop intelligence in a child? A child is born into your household and starts out just hardly able to eat or anything, and bit by bit by bit, over about an 18-year period, hopefully this individual comes to maturity.
Right.
But the process is long and involves bits of information.
Yeah.
And essentially to create an artificial intelligence, and you cover this, by the way.
Yeah, well, see, because
it takes the same sort of nurture.
Exactly, and this is just secular research because people have been working on artificial intelligence for quite some time, universities around the world, et cetera. And they ran into initially what was called the common sense knowledge problem. And basically that's a fancy way of saying if you're going to truly mimic the human brain, hence create an artificial brain, artificial intelligence, you have to hand feed it information, just like you said, how we get intelligence. Through the eye gate, ear gate, every day we're acquiring intelligence as we grow and mature. There's no shortcut. They learn, they try, but there's no shortcut. So if you're going to do it, you have to hand feed this artificial intelligence as much information every day as you can so it can grow artificially, just like us. Well, it's not just IBM working on this, which is scary because they're doing the microchip and all that other stuff and products and people and stuff. But Google is another big player in this as well. And Google has, and we've got them on record, they have not only quoted that they want to be like the mind of God, but we've also exposed that back in the day when they first started Google, they were challenged in a conversation that we have recorded, challenged that to Larry Page, Sergey Brin, the other co-founder, Larry Page with Google, and he was asked, well, why are you developing another search engine? Because we already have, Alta Vista and Lycos and all those other ones, if you remember back in the day.
Sure.
And he says, oh no, and this was back when they were starting. He says, oh, we're not here to develop another search engine. We're here to develop artificial intelligence. Now, that's on tape, right? And so from the get-go, their ultimate goal is they want to create artificial intelligence, their words, not mine, and it's still in print. You can find this. They want to be like the mind of God. They want to know anything and everything. Now, back to that common sense knowledge problem, hand-feed information. That's what Google, admittedly, is doing right now. They are hand-feeding information, whether it be from the search engines. You got Google searches, you got Google Photos, you got Google Satellite, you got Google everything.
Google Play.
Google Play. Everything is being uploaded, admittedly, into a single system. And they also have, this is wild, this has been going on for years. It's called Google Books. Google Books is a program where Google has paid out of their own pocket, right? Not we'll pay half, you pay half, out of their own pocket. And they are going into universities. They're going even into monasteries. They're going and they're scanning with their own equipment every book they can get in universities, monasteries, everywhere of anything that has to do with human knowledge, scanning it and uploading it into a central database system. And that's going on right now. It's been going on for years. So we're going like, well, what are you doing hand-feeding information from a multitude of sources, even scanning whole universities, libraries, and monasteries even, full of human information throughout all of history, and you're uploading all this combined with all the other things that you're getting from us. What are you doing? Well, go back to their stated goal. We're not here for a search engine. We want to be like the mind of God. We are solving the common sense knowledge program. We are hand-feeding our version. They're competing with IBM, version of artificial intelligence to create this super intelligence. Go back to Daniel, and this is like, wow, this is coming alive.
You know, you're talking, and my Bible is still open to Daniel chapter 11, verse 38. But in his estate, that's the Antichrist, he shall honor the God of forces, and a God whom his fathers knew not.
Yeah.
Wow. Could he be talking? Could Daniel be seeing into the future where this godlike intelligence begins to rule humanity?
Well, one thing we do know is it's not just IBM, it's not just Google, but militaries around the world are also jumping on the bandwagon as fast as they can.
Super soldiers.
Bingo. Super soldiers, super intelligence to control all the military equipment. Okay, so like they have right now pilotless jets. They have and artificial intelligence controls jets, jeeps, submarines, ships, boats, supply vehicles, all of it. You don't need a human to drive any of this anymore. And it's not just the United States. The major countries around the world are all jumping on this bandwagon to have an artificial intelligence control virtually every piece of machinery. Now, here's what's wild. They can, well, that would cost trillions of dollars to retool their whole military machinery. No, because what they are able to do is they were to take an artificial intelligence system, put it on a pre-existing military vehicle. The artificial intelligence takes over the vehicle. So you don't even have to buy new vehicles. You just place this artificial intelligence on it. It takes over. You don't need humans to fly, to drive, or even to fight anymore. Now you're going like, whoa, that's pretty crazy. What's even crazier, and this has been recorded, is NASA is developing a system to control this same technology on a global scale and to tap into it. So I'm going like, and of course their rationale is, well, we don't want people flying this, stuff, where it shouldn't be in congested airspaces. Yeah, whatever, with all due respect. So put all this together, stir it in a pot, if you will, go to the Antichrist. The Antichrist, right? He's got some serious technology at his fingertip. He literally right now with modern technology, whether people realize it or not, can literally control and buy what people buy and sell on the planet. Okay, that's the first time in man's history. We have the technology to pull that off. Number two, he has the ability to do some of these fake signs and wonders with modern technology, he and the false prophet. Number three, he also has the ability that if he pushes a button, he creates a Skynet scenario. That Skynet system where all of a sudden it takes over, and artificial intelligence takes over, controls not just missiles, controls the airplanes, controls the boats and the submarines, on land, in the air, under the water, on everywhere, is all hijacked just like that. That system is not coming. That system is already here. It's being advanced by militaries around the world. Imagine one guy getting his hands on that. You could not resist.
One guy backed by the power of Satan.
Bingo.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've got the Antichrist.
Yeah.
So we actually can see the system developing right before our very eyes.
Right. And what's the point? You don't know the day nor the hour of the rapture. Nobody knows.
No.
So don't set a date. Okay? However, it's got to be getting close because God gives us these signs, and we're talking about the sign with Daniel with technology. He gives us these signs. If this is the technology needed to fulfill these events in the 7-year tribulation, and the rapture happens prior to the 7-year tribulation, then logically, we still don't know the day nor the hour, but logically, how much closer must be the rapture of the church, which takes place prior? That's the issue with the final countdown. We're headed for it, and we need to get prepared.
And we have hardly touched the content
Yeah.
of this book called The Final Countdown. There is the book and the DVD set. You'll find them in our online bookstore, prophecywatchers.com. Just click on the online bookstore, scroll down, you'll find Billy Crone's name, and you'll find the book, The Final Countdown, and the DVD set, 27 DVDs. You'll also find, and we often do this, we combine things in packages. In our bookstore, we're calling this the Prophecy 101 package. You buy the 27-disc DVD set, you get the book to go with it absolutely free. And by the way, this is volume 1. You're working on a volume 2, right?
Yes.
And what are you doing here? You're doing, I think, something by way of informing people about this burgeoning prophetic scenario that's hard to follow. It's happening so fast.
Yeah.
But what are you really aiming at? What do you want people to know?
Well, one, you mentioned, the wrath. The 7-year tribulation, once that begins, from the very beginning to the very end of the 7 years, is the wrath of God. Now, the good news is there's a way to escape that. If you're not saved and you come across this information, if anything, it should drive you to Jesus, because there's only one way to escape this wrath that is coming, right? We're heading towards it, the final countdown. You don't want to be there. Good news is you need to get saved right now and ask Christ to forgive you your sins. Okay. Number 2, if you are a Christian, stop being lazy, stop goofing off, get busy sharing the gospel, and get busy living that holy life, being a great witness to the people around you. Okay, because even your worst enemy, you don't want them in this time frame. Okay, and we have the privilege before we are raptured prior to this time frame. Okay, we have the privilege of leading souls out of this time before it's too late.
And these bits of information, all condensed into this book, this DVD set, can absolutely knock down the doubter. Somebody who says, oh, you Christians, you don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Here you've got the information. You do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the information's there, and again, what's very powerful is the video evidence is there. I'm not saying this. Here's the actual guy saying it. I didn't make this up. Here's the UN making that statement. Here's the talking head. They said it, I didn't. But correlate that with the Bible, wow, it's coming alive, and we're getting close.
Billy, thanks so much. And thanks for developing these wonderful witnessing tools. You want to be a great witness in a technological world? Well, here's the information for you. And you keep watching. We are. Thanks for joining us on Prophecy Watchers. You can find us on the web at prophecywatchers.com, where you can sign up for our free email newsletter. In the meantime, keep watching, everybody, and we'll see you soon.